Whether you're looking for a new home abroad or an agent eager to expand your reach, this podcast is the ultimate guide to navigating global real estate markets. Here's your host, Nick Marr.
Welcome to the Global Real Estate Insider. This is the show for anyone dreaming big, looking beyond borders, whether you're searching for a second home, hunting for an investment property, thinking about retirement overseas, or a digital nomad looking for inspiration. You're certainly in the right place. And today we've got a good one for you, because joining us is someone who has not only mastered Mexico's most desirable markets, he's lived them, breathed them, and helped buyers from over the world live their dream lifestyle. So I'm talking about Chris Van Cise from Live the Dream team at Keller Williams. Now, Chris is a powerhouse agent with over 12 years of high-level experience across Mexico. Today, he's advising clients in the world-renowned, art-infused city of San Miguel de Allende, one of the most iconic real estate destinations on the planet. Few people see Mexico's market with this level of depth, history, and boots-on-the-ground experience. So, Chris, we're thrilled to have you on the show. Welcome to the Global Real Estate Insider. How are you, Chris?
It's another amazing, beautiful day here in paradise. How do you complain when you live in paradise? It's really, really hard.
Okay. So tell me, how did you get into real estate, Chris?
Well, actually, so I'm going to start off. I fell in love with a beautiful Mexican girl 12 years ago and moved to Mexico. And before I got into real estate, I actually had the mindset of every gringo where I'm going to open up a restaurant or a bar. And I started my career off in Mazatlan, Sinaloa. And after doing research on the whole aspect of opening a bar, I threw that idea out the window after 3 days of being in Mazatlan. Why? Well, if you go into how do you explain it? A really nice high-end restaurant and they've only got 3 clients and they've got 30 people working for them. You read in between the lines and you understand what they're doing, because this is Mexico. They were laundering money. So you can't compete with that when the businesses are doing something under the table. So I was renting, and this is going back 12 years when Trump just came into power, and I'm Canadian. So
Okay.
it shot the dollar up to almost 19 to 1. So we were going to buy a house. The company that I was buying the property off of, I gave the owner an ultimatum. I said, I'm going to buy this property in cash, but you're going to give me a job. No job, no sale. And he actually gave me a job, but I didn't really get much guidance or anything from this particular company. And a year later, godsend happened. Keller Williams came to Mexico, and I got contacted by the team leader that was at our KW El Faro Mazatlan Market Center. And he told me that he was going to give me all the books, literature, and courses to succeed in this business for free. He asked me, what do you think? I shook my head back and forth and I said, did you hear a rock pin? He said, no. I said, well, I'd have to have rocks for brains to turn this particular opportunity down. I took all of their courses, so on and so forth. I became lead listing. I became lead sales agent, and I became a top producer in Mazatlan for roughly 9 years.
Okay, cool. Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're now in a different part of Mexico.
Yeah, so I worked in Mazatlan for 9 years, and unfortunately, things I couldn't see or foresee. I got a divorce. My business kind of went twirling down after that. I didn't see Mazatlan the same. I tried Merida. I worked in Merida for a year. It was a beautiful city, but too hot for me. It was about 45 degrees. It was like living in Vegas. I then moved to the Quintana Roo state, which is Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Cancun. Tried to work there, but that particular part of Mexico, the market is all over the place. And acting as a fiduciary, I couldn't tell a client to purchase something. Why? When you're purchasing in Tulum, you've got to be very careful. When they say pre-construction prices, normally you're supposed to get the best price point because, you're taking the risk. It wasn't like that then. I found developments asking for a higher price point when they were building it, and when they couldn't sell it and the product was finished, they were dropping the price drastically, which brought up red flags. And then permits and everything else, because when you're working in the Yucatan province, you're working where, they're finding dinosaur bones and everything else. So you need very, very special permits to build. And there were a lot of developments that were going around, cutting corners, paying people off, and weren't getting the correct permits. So you were hearing horror stories.
Okay.
Anyhow, I threw that out and I came to San Miguel. There was something drawing me here. When I got here, I realized why. Well, how do you explain it? When you want to come to Mexico, obviously you want to live close to the ocean because you're 4,000 miles away from it. That novelty sometimes grows old, especially living in a tourist environment. San
Hmm.
Miguel is roughly an 8 hour bus ride to the nearest beach. But when you come back to San Miguel, you're going to appreciate it more. The colonial lifestyle, the architecture here. And then every boy's dream was to be a cowboy. There's a lot of
Okay.
vineyards and whatnot. And when you're looking at the mountainside, and where I live in San Miguel, I actually have horses and cows that come right up to my patio. My dog howls like a crazy dog. So you have that particular aspect of the lifestyle where watching those cowboy and Indian movies growing up as a kid, you can actually be on a horse riding it into yonder, into the mountains. And I think that aspect is really cool. And no boy or man growing up can state that there wasn't a point in time in a childhood life where you wanted to be a cowboy or an Indian, correct?
Right. So I mean, certainly I've seen some of your listings and the architecture is really stunning. They've got everything has got character, is how I would describe some of the homes there that you're promoting.
Yes, well, and because we're not in, so to speak, a tourist trap, I've found that here in San Miguel, they do quality over quantity. Each particular property that I've promoted is almost a work of art, especially
Hmm.
the colonial lifestyle or the architecture. And even when you walk down the streets here in San Miguel, you don't really need a destination. You just start walking and you're in awe. And if you sit back and have a coffee and just think about the history of San Miguel and
Hmm.
how that house 150 years old or whatever, and the stories that it could tell.
Okay, so just help me with the location, San Miguel. Where's it near? What's the airport near? Tell me a little bit so
Well,
we know
we
where
are in
you are.
San Miguel. We're in the state of Guanajuato, so we're in the middle of Mexico, in the mountains. I think from the airport, I think it's about an hour's drive. I actually haven't flown here yet, so my information on the airports is just from other people or whatever. But
Okay.
in on the Guanajuato state, San Miguel is pretty. I think one of the most sought after cities in the world, and
Hmm.
it's got to do with the people that it's drawing to. You got a lot of people, sophisticated people, lots of artists and whatnot, which makes it a
Okay.
really neat place to live.
So, I mean, San Miguel sounds really interesting. Sounds like a good place to have a visit first.
Like I stated, before investing in Mexico, I suggest really doing your due diligence in visiting, rent a place, make sure that that location is for you. But for example, everybody that goes to Mexico, it really doesn't matter where it is. Central, the beautiful, the churches and everything else, everybody falls in love with that. And everybody wants to be close to that at the beginning. But you're going to realize that the fireworks, the church bells, the festivals, and all of those types of things after 3 months, they grow old. And the cool thing about San Miguel or any city in Mexico is it doesn't take 2 hours to get to downtown. It's literally a 15-minute drive or a 30-minute walk. So you can live on the outskirts and
Okay.
still have access to all of that, but it doesn't bother you so much. I'd always make sure that location, make sure the location
Hmm.
is best for you before moving forward.
Okay. So, some of our listeners to this show are people looking to retire overseas.
Mhm.
Some are people that are digital nomads. They want to set up home for 6 months somewhere. What sort of advice would you give those guys?
Well, for retiring, again, check the location first. It's location, location, location. Retiring, I would suggest a vineyard or a wellness center. There's a lot of places just outside of San Miguel where you can live in a wellness village and have all of the amenities and shuttles taking you into downtown. For a
Okay.
digital nomad, it would be more renting a place that's close to all the coffee shops. And
Okay. And how's the housing market been there over, say, the last few years? Do you know?
that's why I actually came here. It's a stable market. It's a stable market. And the great thing about San Miguel is equity is never ever going to go down.
Okay.
Never. It's always going to increase. Why? Because of supply and demand.
Okay. Okay. So what's the process? Say I'm from overseas. I'm thinking about buying in your area. What do I need, or what's the process?
Okay, so the great thing about where we are located is that you don't, when you're living 50 kilometers from the shoreline or 100 kilometers from the border, you need a
Okay.
fidecomiso to purchase the property. Here you don't. It's actually really a straightforward investment. We present the offer with price point. Once we get that accepted, we would then write up the contract with all the contingencies and clauses. After that is signed, you have 3 days to put the 10% into an agreed escrow account with buyer and seller. That's held into escrow. We then do a property inspection. And then before closing, a day or two before that, you'll put the 90% into the escrow account. We will go check the property and then go to the notarial, sign the title. And that's when the 90% is sent to the seller. And then you are given possession. Technically speaking, here, we can close between 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow, that's quick. So me being from, say, I'm from the UK, is that okay to buy in that area?
Yeah, so the one thing now, when purchasing a property here in Mexico, and especially being an expat or foreigner, when you purchase or after you purchase, you want to get your residency, permanent or temporary, even if you have no intentions of living in Mexico. Why? When you go to sell the property, if you're getting capital gains and you don't have residency, you're going to pay 35% on the capital gains. But if you have your residency and your social security number here in Mexico, we can exempt that particular thing.
Okay, interesting. All right. So for listeners considering investing in Mexico, what's your single piece of the best advice to help them with their investment? What is the best?
Single investing, do your due diligence first. If you're investing into a property, you have to love it in your heart and soul. You have to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, nobody else is going to believe in it. And then for investment wise, make sure you're doing your due diligence, because when you purchase a property, you're not planning on living here full time. You're gonna need the correct representation, property management, Airbnb, and all of that stuff, and have the mindset that any business worth doing actually takes time to build it. You're not don't listen to some realtors that are going to say, hey, if you buy this tomorrow, you're going to be making a passive income of da 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 da. It takes time to do that. Yes, you can create that passive income, but make sure you're doing your due diligence and making and having all of your ducks in a row before moving forward on it.
Okay, so what types of properties are most in demand right now?
Here in San Miguel, there's two types of properties really that are in high demand. Well, first of all, it's the central historical, where you're walking distance to, the churches and all the coffee shops and that. And then the second is San Miguel's really known for its vineyards and wine. So living in a vineyard and having that vineyard view is very, very sought after. And there's actually one particular development that I'd like to recommend. It's called the Santa Vid. Now, the Santa Vid, you get a property that's 1,000 meters squared, and they give you a catalog of the type of property that you would like to build or have. And right now, it's still pre-construction. So when this particular development is going to be done, the equity is going to go up by 30%. So you can get yourself in a vineyard for pretty much two-thirds of the price if you go aspect of like the San Lucas vineyard or the San Francisco vineyard.
Okay, so you can live life on a vineyard.
Yep. And I like actually have the wine distillery and the whole 9 yards in your backyard.
Sounds ideal. Sounds ideal. Chris, you're obviously full of local knowledge, and I imagine you handheld people that are buying from abroad, and it's always nice to have like a safe pair of hands. Anything else that our listeners should know about your market there?
But the market here in San Miguel, make sure you're working with a reputable agent, like some a company, Keller Williams, Remax, whatever, what have you, that actually knows. The one thing about Keller Williams that has us stand out from the rest is our market center, technically speaking, isn't for prospecting. Our market center is a university. Every single day we have classes to provide better customer service, better knowledge, so on and so forth. So any realtor coming from KW has that background on teaching and education. You're not just getting an agent that wakes up tomorrow and say, hey, I'm going to open up John Smith's Real Estate and I'm a real estate agent and I know absolutely nothing about the transaction process. our company, because Keller Williams is a franchise, they're actually teaching us how to be better and better and better. And all of my knowledge has come from Keller Williams, and I'm very, very grateful to be a part of this company.
Okay. Chris, it's been very informative. How do people get hold of you if they want some more further advice?
It's for email or WhatsApp. The easiest way, I guess, would be my email, my phone number, +521 999 244 0715.
So what's the name of your agency again, Chris?
It's Keller Williams, but my particular team, I'm Live the Dream Team, Keller Williams Real Estate here in San Miguel.
Wicked. Thank you very much. Been really interesting chatting to you. And I'm hoping it's of use to people that are thinking about Mexico as a place to buy property abroad. You've been listening to Nick Marr at the Global Real Estate Insider. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to the Global Real Estate Investor Podcast. If you're a buyer or investor, be sure to visit our platforms, homesgofast.com and europeanproperty.com. You'll find thousands of properties for sale and investment opportunities listed by agents, developers, and private owners. Whether you're looking for a second home, a luxury estate, or a profitable investment, we have something for you on our platforms. Don't miss out. Check out homesgofast.com and europeanproperty.com today. And remember, stay tuned for more insights and expert advice on global real estate.